Okay, as far as multiplying fractions, I think that's usually the easier one. But we still do confuse the rules quite frequently. So, um, as far as multiplying fractions, okay, what's the rule for that? And let's think back to parts of parts to make sense of this. So, um, let's say we have 2/3 times 5/6. Okay, we learned a few different ways to diagram this out or to represent this, but I'm just going to go back to the very first one where we talked about the mural. So I'm going to build this using rectangles. Um, and again, let's try to think parts of parts. Okay, so this is something like, Isaiah promised to paint 5/6 of the wall, but he only painted 2/3 of the 5/6 that he promised. So how much did he paint? So let's start by I guess creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go ahead and draw out this diagram, and let's say that Isaiah promised he's going to paint 5/6. So I'm gonna break this into sixths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's see, so he promised he would paint the green, which is 5/6 of it. Okay, but for whatever reason, he didn't do what he promised to do, and he only finished 2/3 of what he promised. Okay, so what that means is that of the green part of what he promised, he only painted 2/3 of that. So what I did is I broke into thirds, if you notice that way, and he did 2/3 of it. So this is what he actually did from what he promised. So the green and red parts are what he actually did. So if we take a look, okay, how much did he? Which parts are green and red? Green and red. Well, there's two rows and 5 columns. So 2 times 5 is 10, and not coincidentally, the numerator is 2 and 5. So you just multiply that to get the 10. Okay, well, he did 10 parts of this. Well, how many parts are there altogether? Okay, well, there's 3 rows altogether and 6 columns altogether. And again, not coincident, so that makes 18. And again, not coincidentally, the denominator is 3 and times 6 for the 18. So when we multiply fractions, we simply multiply across. Okay, so 2/3 times 5/6. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 6 is 18. Okay, so 10/18. Now are we done? Okay, by now we should remember that we need to simplify, so I'm going to divide by 2 halves, and I'm going to get 5/9. So 2/3 times 5/6 is equal to 5/9. Now I want to add another part in case we forgot. If we have a mixed number, for instance, if we have 3 and 3/4 times 1/2, what do we need to do? Well, I need to convert the 3 and 3/4 into an improper fraction. If I have 3 holes, each hole is broken into 4 parts, I'm going to have 12 parts. In other words, 4 times 3 is 12, and I have 3 left over. So 12 plus 3 is 15. I have 15/4. Again, 12 from here, 12 from the 3 holes, and 3 more to make 15, and they're fourths. They're broken into fourths. Still multiplying by 1/2. 15 times 1 is 15. 4 times 2 is 8. And if I simplify that, I'm going to have 1 and 7/8.